There you go. That was pretty good. See how I went and got the corner of his mouth and it came right away. And now when I release, look at his drive compared to the beginning where it felt like I was washing, like I was riding a washing machine. Now it feels like I'm riding a motorcycle because it's balanced. It's going forward. I feel I can let go of the handlebars and keep going forward. It doesn't, you know, it doesn't start bucking like I'm hitting potholes in Oklahoma. Today's video is about, what it's about is that for the next 2-3 months, most of us in the performance horse industry are going to be in that transitionary phase from one year to the other. 2-year-olds are becoming 3-year-olds. We're going to do some cold starting. Show horses are having some time off through the winter. And what is my program for him for the next 2 months, for example, or for my show horses for the next 2 months? Okay, so when we come back from the New Year's, I want to start and get videos out about cold starting and cover that as much as possible. But what I want to leave you for the Christmas time right now with is just a quick summary of the things that I'm going to be working on with him and other horses like him through the winter period. Now, I'm going to go over a few things with him that I'm going to be working on most of my horses going through the next 2 months. And so when I was over there at the futurity with him, so obviously I had my dad there with me and my sister and my wife and all of the people that helped me, you know, keep my head in the right place and not get lost, you know, in training or and just making sure that you know, that I optimize every riding session that I have. And so I feel that I was able again to find a balance between training and tuning my horse up for the show. So, but in the training aspect of it, for example, is although you want to program your horse for a lead change, doing it one-handed, you know, in the middle of a smaller arena than here, I find that this is, for example, an area where the horse needs to go through it without anticipation. Okay, so as much as I can work on the cues of the change and all that, the setup to me is what was the most important. So although sometimes it felt like I was training that, I felt like it was very important for me to go through that center and have a horse that's going through the center honest and wait for me to ask him to change. So it was getting rid of the anticipation, and at the same time it was helping my circles because I was making him use his body in an optimal position and fashion to where he's really driving himself and lifting his back and lifting his shoulder and is having some forward motion. Okay, so here's what I did at the futurity, and here's what I want to be able to do here and for the next 2 months, as much as possible, to continue to strengthen that, because as good as it was and as effective as it was over there, it wasn't perfect and it wasn't always as easy to do, and I had to do a little bit more of it than I would have liked, which was tiring him out. Okay, so what I'm talking about is, for example, I've said often that to train my lead change and get a horse to do the lead change the way that I like them, they need to approach them, you know, with forward motion and driving themselves and have their body position right. And then when you ask them to change, it's just really effortless for them to make that change. Okay, so for that, they have to really drive themselves into that outer diagonal in a counter canter, you know, and really looking out of that outside eye until it's time to change. And so with him, before the change, he feels me. He feels every little move that I make, and that's what's been the biggest challenge with me this year. And that's why, for me, to get rid of all those anticipation moments at the show was key, a key element of our success. So this is why that whenever I got into the practice arena there, I trotted both ways, and I did a little bit like you saw me do at the beginning of this video. And that's very simple. Okay, this is, you know, most trainers will do this, and this is something that, you know, I've introduced since the beginning of training on this horse, and it's just making a flexion. But normally with a simple flexion, I want him to follow his nose kind of into that direction. Now the difference is I want his feet to keep going straight when I do my flexion. This is the trickier part. Okay, but when you can go straight like this and take your horse into a full flexion, and he knows how to use his body in a good enough way and gets off your left leg here, like my inside leg, enough to really push his energy towards the right here and softens up his chin and does that without any resistance, just like this here, okay, then you know that you have a very, very valuable tool here. Okay, so this is the thing that was actually quite difficult for him to learn to do. It took me half of the year to get him to do this easily. The reason is he was a very big, strong, stout horse, and for him to move himself more nimbly was hard. So when we cash traded him, he lost weight and he became a little bit more athletic, and he was a bit less of a bully, therefore he was a little bit more willing, and all that really developed in the right direction. But I really give a lot of credit to that simple exercise. I haven't loped him yet, so now that I'm going to take lope off, he's probably going to give me a little hard time about it until he gets going, and it's good because it's going to be similar to some of the first timers that are going to be doing this for the first time. So step one is you're going to be walking or trotting your horse in the loose rein. Make sure you have forward motion, and then you're going to take your horse in a full flexion and try to keep those front feet going straight. Okay, so see, I got some resistance here a little bit, so I'm driving with my inside leg, and then when I feel, there you go, when I feel that, you know, that chin just when he gives me the corner of his mouth right here perfectly, and I feel the energy go in that direction, I release completely. Here, I take the right lead. Okay, and then right after taking the right lead, give him a couple strides to get forward. Then I will do the exact same thing. Very important to have your legs in a very good scissor fashion to where you have your left leg further back and your right leg more forward, okay? And you can see when I take him, this is something that, again, took me a long time to get him to do easily. Here I'm trying to do it while talking to you guys, so it might be a little bit more difficult, but that's okay. I wanted to be a little bit difficult so that you can see the challenge I go through and show you how to fix them, okay? So here I'm holding him and he's just anticipating the lead change. This is not something he's really done so much, so it's probably because he's a little bit fresh now and I'm talking, he's a little bit nervous and confused. Either way, all I'm going to do is help him with keeping my left leg further back on him, keep my left hand holding his chin there, supporting that shoulder, there we go, and release when I feel that he gives me the corner of his mouth and he channels energy from his outside left hind through his right front. There you go, right there. So there you go, that was pretty good. See how I went and got the corner of his mouth and it came right away, and now when I release, look at his drive compared to the beginning where it felt like I was riding a washing machine. Now it feels like I'm riding a motorcycle because it's balanced, it's going forward. I feel I can let go of the handlebars and keep going forward. It doesn't start bucking like I'm hitting potholes in Oklahoma. There we go. Don't let him forward beat here. I want to keep my forward motion. There you go. So this feels good. I feel I can change lead all day like this. I feel like he's such in a good drive from behind and holding himself so nicely that I also feel it's really helping my circle. I know I'm on the counter canter right now, but I do feel like I could probably run some fast circles on a counter canter. And to be honest, here you go. This will be my New Year's resolution with this horse. Can I run fast circles on a counter canter? I've done some of it this year, but it's not very easy, especially not with him. So for now, I'm gonna just keep working this until this becomes the easiest possible. And then just before I change lead, whether I'm in a show pen or in practice, I do always a little extra drive with my seat and my leg, and that's what cues them that the change is coming. So in order to really work on that anticipation problem, see, I just did it there and he picked up his head and braced a little bit. That's because he anticipated me asking him for a lead change. But then I didn't. So I'm gonna do this again. So instead of just taking him here, I'm gonna sit back a little bit, drive with my leg, even cluck a little. There you go. This time, he didn't brace against me, didn't really stiffen up his neck. When I brought my leg back a little bit and kissed or clucked, he drove himself a little bit more forward, which felt ready to ask for a lead change if I needed to. So I like how he gave this to me right there. See, this feels good right here. See, that was an anticipation to the lead change. Again here. There we go. There we go. See, when I released him, he kind of got long a little bit. Sorry about the sniffles, getting chilly. There we go, see that? How he drove himself forward, stayed soft in my hand? That's what I want. You probably didn't hear it, but 2 strides or 1, 2 strides before I asked him to change, that's what his breathing sounded like. Okay, so this is exactly what he does. So he saw it coming, but so it popped me a little bit because he did lose a little of his forward motion in the change. So this is exactly why this exercise is going to be good for him, and he needs to do this a lot. Okay, so this is why I wanted to bring him out today, show you this, because this is what I'll be doing the next 2 months. Maybe I'll do a video again in the next 2 months with him if I still have him, hopefully, and show you my progress there. But I want to be able to do that one-handed, just lift my hand here, a little bit of leg, and have just be like, yes, I can do this all day, and then ask my change and feel that there isn't that held of breath where he holds his breath and goes, huh. Okay, I want to get rid of that. With that said, if you're not subscribed to this video, please, to this YouTube channel, please do so, as it helps us reach more people. If you find any value in this video, please give it a like. And I'm gonna miss doing this until New Year, but I guess everyone needs a break. So it's been a good one. I hope you had a great year. See you in the next time.